Imagine the clock striking 9 p.m. on a quiet winter evening in 1700. Suddenly, the earth heaves with unimaginable fury. For 4 agonizing minutes, the ground bucks and rolls, trees snap like twigs, and entire villages along the Pacific Northwest coast vanish into the sea. A colossal wave, taller than a 10-story building, surges inland, swallowing forests and reshaping the land forever. This wasn't fiction. It was the last time the Cascadia Megathrust unleashed its wrath. And today, over 325 years later, scientists warn that Seattle, Portland, and millions in between could face a similar nightmare. Welcome to the Cascadia Megathrust. Is Seattle on the brink of disaster? I'm your host, diving deep into the science of one of Earth's most terrifying fault lines. Buckle up, this could shake your world. Let's start with the basics. The Cascadia Subduction Zone isn't just a crack in the ground. It's a 700-mile-long beast lurking offshore from Northern California to British Columbia. Here, the Juan de Fuca tectonic plate, a chunk of ocean floor the size of California, is slowly grinding under the North American plate at about 4 centimeters a year. Think of it like 2 massive ice floes rubbing together, but with the force of entire continents. Over centuries, friction locks these plates in place, building up stress like a coiled spring. When it snaps, you get a megathrust earthquake, a rupture so vast it can measure magnitude 9 or higher, dwarfing the 2011 Japan quake that caused the Fukushima disaster. These aren't your garden-variety tremors. Megathrust quakes release energy equivalent to thousands of Hiroshima bombs, all in one go. The fault plane, buried 10 to 30 miles deep, suddenly slips up to 60 feet in seconds, propelling the seafloor upward and triggering tsunamis that race across the Pacific at jet speeds. Cascadia's history screams danger. Geological records show at least 19 full ruptures in the past 10,000 years, with intervals averaging 400 to 600 years. We're deep into that window now, and the clock is ticking. To understand the peril, rewind to January 26, 1700. The date etched in sediment and stories. No seismographs existed then, but nature left indelible scars. Along the coast, massive landslides buried ancient trees in their tracks, while sudden subsidence, land dropping up to 6 feet, drowned marshes in saltwater. Native American tribes from the Makah to the Quileute passed down oral histories of the ground shaking so hard it made the mountains dance and waves that ate the villages whole. Half a world away, Japanese fishermen chronicled an orphan tsunami on January 27th, a rogue wave with no local quake to blame. It turns out, Cascadia's rupture sent ripples across 5,000 miles of ocean, slamming Japan's shores just 10 hours later. Paleoseismologists pieced this puzzle together in the 1980s by coring mud from coastal ponds and marshes, finding layered ghost forests of drowned cedars dated precisely to that night. The quake, a monster magnitude 8.7 to 9.2, rupturing nearly the entire zone in one go. It reshaped the geography, submerging 1,000 square miles of land and leaving a legacy of fear in indigenous lore. Fast forward to modern science, and the picture gets even more sobering. Thanks to GPS satellites and seafloor pressure sensors, we now monitor Cascadia's slow-motion buildup. The plates are locked. No creep, just tension piling up like debt. Every decade, stress accrues equivalent to a magnitude 7.5 quake. But it all waits for the big release. Recent studies from the USGS reveal that northern Cascadia has seen at least 10 megathrust events in 14,000 years, with a chillingly regular beat of 440 to 560 years. And it's not just full-zone blowouts. Tsunami earthquakes, sneaky magnitude 7s, can slip in too, like the 2024 Japan event that blindsided coastal towns. But could it break differently? A 2024 study offers a sliver of hope. Cascadia might not always rupture end-to-end. Simulations suggest it could segment into smaller quakes, say magnitude 8.5 in the north and south, sparing a full M9 apocalypse. Still, even partial slips pack devastation. The real wildcard? Cascadia's locked and loaded state means any trigger, like a distant quake, could set it off. We're talking 4 to 6 minutes of shaking versus 20 seconds in the 1989 Loma Prieta quake that toppled freeways in San Francisco. Now, zero in on Seattle. The Emerald City's glittering skyline hides a seismic sword of Damocles. Unlike quakes that fade fast, Cascadia's waves would hammer the Puget Sound Basin for minutes on end. Seattle sits 100 miles inland, buffered from the open ocean tsunami, but don't breathe easy. The shaking alone could liquefy the soggy soils under downtown, turning solid streets into quicksand traps. Iconic spots like Pioneer Square, built on filled-in tidelands, face collapse risks, with unreinforced brick buildings crumbling like cookies. Bridges over the Sound. Expect dozens to snap, isolating neighborhoods and snarling evacuations. And the tsunami threat? While the big wave hits the coast in 15 minutes, sloshing into Puget Sound could amplify local hazards. A triggered Seattle fault quake, right under the city, might spawn its own 20-foot surges, flooding Elliott Bay and Alki Beach. Models predict up to 13,000 deaths regionally, with Seattle bearing thousands from fires sparked by ruptured gas lines, power outages plunging the city into darkness, and landslides burying I-5 under mudslides from Capitol Hill. Coastal subsidence could drop low-lying areas 7 feet, salting farmlands and swamping ports that handle 40% of U.S. container traffic. Economically, trillions in damage, rivaling a hurricane season on steroids. A 2025 FEMA simulation painted a grim picture. Hospitals overwhelmed, supply chains severed for months, and refugees streaming east on clogged roads. So, is Seattle on the brink? Probabilities paint a probabilistic precipice. The USGS pegs a 37% chance of a magnitude 7.1 or greater in the next 50 years, jumping to 15% for an 8.0 plus monster. Full M9? About 10 to 14%, but that's tomorrow's roulette. Recent jolts, like July's magnitude 7.6 off Russia's Kamchatka, served as stark reminders. Waves hit without warning, echoing Cascadia's playbook. We're not helpless, though. Shake Alert now gives seconds of warning via apps, and retrofits are underway. Seattle's bolstering bridges, and Oregon's building vertical evac towers on beaches for tsunami escape. Preparedness is our superpower. Stock a go bag with water, meds, and cash for 2 weeks. Power grids could black out for days. Practice, drop, cover, hold on. And map your evacuation route. High ground is your friend. Governments are stepping up. Washington's $200 million in seismic grants, and cross-border drills simulating the chaos. Indigenous knowledge, too, from those 1,700 survivors, guides modern alerts, blending ancient wisdom with tech. The Cascadia Megathrust isn't a myth, it's a metronome of doom, counting down to its next beat. Seattle isn't doomed yet, but ignoring it is playing with fire. Stay informed, stay ready, because when the Earth decides to dance, you'll want to lead. What do you think? Prepared or panicked? Drop a comment below, smash that like button if this shook you up, and subscribe for more science that hits hard. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, just in case it moves.